Welcome to this audio series on getting the most from your field sales software. In this edition, we will be talking about the value of using the Sell More features of the software. Jim and Andy are our senior solutions consultants who work closely with clients to help them realize the potential of our software and maximize the growth and productivity of brands and field sales teams.
Great for us to catch up again today and understand we want to focus on some of those great features that allow sales team to sell more, grow brands and displace competitors. Is that correct?
It sure is, Andy. I'd like to focus on really 4 areas which we see our clients using a great deal to benefit their businesses.
That's great. What are those, Jim?
Well, it starts with complex pricing and then one-off pay for performance, promotional discount tactics, and then finally tactical rebates.
Sounds interesting, but before we dive into those, who are the audience or which customers, if you were a client, would you be aiming these at?
Well, that's a great question, Andy. Well, often in a client's customer base, they have a range of customers, usually large multiple store chains where product range, pricing, and facings are agreed upon at a headquarters level. And therefore, the role when calling on it is more focused on compliance, data capture, promotional build, generally governance of the contracted to conditions. So also a client's customer base are small multiples and independent customers that are free to buy, and this is a great opportunity to influence the range, placement, and displace competitor brands as well. These customers also tend to represent a higher margin for the product stocked.
Why is it important to have a solution where complex pricing is catered for?
Well, pricing is the foundation on which you build any other incremental offers, and this has 2 really primary areas of focus. First, for the manufacturer of the brand, you need to know your deal is profitable. And then secondly, for the end customer, they want to know what something will cost, and if they will sell it for a certain price, how much profit are they likely to make?
So the salesperson really needs to have customers' individual pricing at their fingertips to know that they're doing a good deal for their company and to be able to present the benefits of that deal to the customer. Is that right?
Exactly.
So Jim, tell me more about the one-off pay-for-performance tactics and how these might be used.
Well, in AFS retail execution, we call these commitments. Each representative can be set up with a financial budget to be spent against. The spend can either be in stock that they carry or as a payment to be settled upon when the commitment is met by the customer. Typically, these are used in the following ways: prime location for brand positioning, new product or range stocked, point of sale material displays, displacement of a competitor brand, for example, pack size or category, volume of product purchased over a predefined time, or change in delivery days.
So it's a great way to grow presence in these customers and directly reward the customer for that behavior you're encouraging. So typically, what do you see as levels of uplift your clients reporting from this activity?
Well, that really varies depending on what they're trying to achieve ultimately. For example, change of delivery day may address out-of-stock issues, which still represents growth, but typically when the tactic is related to brand growth or displacement, we see anywhere from 5, 15, 20% growth.
That's a great opportunity. Anywhere between 5 and 15% growth is anybody want to have that, wouldn't they?
Oh, absolutely.
So how do you know you've got the performance increase before you choose to pay out?
Well, the key is that it's got to be straightforward and evidence-based, and some of this can come from internal data, such as change of delivery day volume and product delivered, or it can come from the data collected in the store, where that takes the form of an audit on the shelves or images captured of a new display.
And how would you go about actually making the payment to the end customer?
Well, you touched on this. It could be stock, either product, physical goods, point of sale materials, a check being made or cut, or a cash payment, all of which are linked back to the budget that we talked about earlier, so you can account properly for this tactical activity and measure the cost versus the incremental lift you actually achieve.
And in terms of potential distribution channels that you might have as a customer, would you recommend this for any particular distribution channels?
These tactics work great in all scenarios if you deliver directly to the customer or if you're performing pre-sales where a third-party distributor fulfills the orders on your behalf, or even if the customer collects goods from a cash and carry, as payout is ultimately evidence-based.
That's great information. Let's have a dive now into promotional discount tactics. I guess these may have a restriction in terms of the distribution channel.
Generally, these are used where you deliver directly to the customer, but that doesn't mean you can't just use it with pre-sales, as the AFS retail execution can pull through a distributor's price at the customer. If that's provided, The promotional tactic can be set against a budget that is allocated to that distributor. The only area you may not want to really use it is the cash and carry scenario we discussed.
And I guess that's because you're unlikely to have the cash and carries pricing for particular products.
Yeah, that's right.
So in terms of that, great for your direct and your indirect channels. And as long as your distributor wants to support those promotions and you're providing the budget for it, you can actually push that through that distributor's channel. But you can also show the distributor from the budgeting side of it how much has happened and what you actually owe them at the end of it. Is that correct?
Sure. The first thing to remember is that these are related to an order that is taken as part of the visit to the customer and that can be manually assigned or automatically assigned. From there, you determine the products or the ranges of products that are part of the deal, at what point the reward or discount should start to pay, and if it only pays against certain products in the range. Outside of that, you have complete flexibility over the whole thing.
So you touched on two elements there, which is sort of manually or automatically assigned, Jim. What does that mean?
Automatically means the system will calculate the promotion reward for every dollar that qualifies, and this is really set by rules that are defined at the headquarters level. Whereas manually means that the sales rep has flexibility to choose if they wish to apply the reward, meaning you don't need to reward a customer for their normally weekly order. After all, you're really looking to grow the order or the range using these tactics.
Okay, so what you're saying is you can typically set up a range of deals, and an example of that might be buy 20 from a range of products, say A, B, and C, and you get a 10% discount on the price of product C. Or you may set up a step deal to say buy 10 of product A, be rewarded by a 10% discount. Then if a customer buys more, say 20 of product A, they get a 12% discount, 30 of product A, and they get a 15% discount, and more. So actually you're giving them a greater reward for the more they buy. Is that correct?
That is, as well as a percentage. You can use the mechanic to offer a fixed amount off, such as $2 off a case, so it's usually 10. Now it'll be 8 for the product to be sold on the order at a fixed price of say $9.25.
Okay, so there's actually three tactics there then. You can offer a percentage off, you can offer an amount of money off, or you can actually offer the product at a fixed price, assuming the customers hit the relevant hurdles in terms of volume of product and the right products in the range.
That's exactly right. Good catch.
So Jim, in terms of the results of using these types of tactics, what do we see our customers reporting? It's sort of the benefit they're seeing.
Well, again, these are varied by the customer and the tactics deployed, but some will be uplift in sales as you're targeting volume, but more often the incremental growth is coming from increased distribution, range extension, or using some of the discount to be passed on to the customer to drive uptake. And as I said, these are usually in the region of like 5 to 15%.
Do you see these being used in combination with any of the one-off payment performance tactics?
Oh, very much so, especially when you want a new product to have prominence or take out a competitor product. And also this generates a lot of loyalty at the customer.
So the last sale feature we're going to discuss is tactical rebates, or as they're called in the system, booking sheets. Where do you use these?
So booking sheets are great when you have either directly delivered goods or you're delivering through a third-party distributor. And to cater for this, there are two types. A suggested booking sheet is for use where third party delivers the goods, and an official one is for use by the organization if they're directly delivering the goods.
So you described a bit of the difference there, but what do you see as the sort of two key differences in the way those mechanics work?
Well, the key difference relates to the delivery time frame and interaction. For directly delivered goods, you generally know which days of the week deliveries take place, and you can set your goals for achievement based on those, as well as you can certainly plan, and you can centrally plan around that. With third-party delivered goods, you may not have complete visibility to the delivery information, and you need to give the rep an element of autonomy so that they can be approved.
Thanks. So outside the behavior between whether you're looking to target this internally with your own distribution or use it through a third party, the way you set them up is basically the same. You define products or range of products, the expected quantities, and then target those to the customers where you want this opportunity to be realized. And then there's a time frame that the quantities need to be delivered within to earn that particular rebate.
Yeah, that's right, Andy. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're creating stretch goals over time. Internally, you have the delivered quantity that lets you know if you should pay out or not. And from a third party, the delivered goods, you take photographic evidence or you get evidence based on the distributor's proof deliveries.
So what you're really doing is booking those future volumes that a client has agreed, and if they hit their target in the agreed time frame, they get paid that tactical rebate.
Exactly, and this is a great way to make a new product stick, as the reward is paid out over time rather than just on the first order.
So I guess with any of the tactics that we've been discussing here, be they the pay performance, tactical rebate, special pricing, I guess the key to all of these things is correct setup, correct targeting, and the reporting that goes with those.
It is, because you can target these types of promotions down to an individual rep and customer level. You can be really flexible about how you gap fill and not impact profitability. So using your internal data and field data collected in the application is key to applying this to the customers where you want to get the greatest reward. You also want to provide the sales team with appropriate sales material in the sales folder to get the customer to buy in, particularly new product distribution or reasons to displace a competitor. And then finally, you should use the targets dashboard so that a sales rep and their manager knows how they're performing against the objective.
Jim, great tactics, helping our clients increase share, gain distribution for their products, displace competitors, or change and reward customers for behavior that benefits both themselves and their business. And we see our clients reporting growth anywhere between 5 and 15%, depending on which of the tactics have been used and the market opportunities that they're looking to pursue. Jim, this has been great. I look forward to our next conversation in this audio series.
Sounds good, Andy. I look forward to it myself.
Thanks for listening to this edition in the audio series on getting the most from your field sales software. If you would like to find out more, click on the Request a Demo link on the AFS website.